Greetings and salutations. Remember a few videos back when I was opining how I wanted to get rid of the cooling lines that ran from the engine compartment all the way up to the front of the bus to run a defroster? If you don't, I'll link to that video here in the description, and I'll put a card up here so you can go watch what I was talking about. Had a lot of great suggestions, had a lot of not so great suggestions. But one of the best suggestions that I had was to get a diesel-fired preheater or an auxiliary heater and use that as a standalone system. That's a great idea. I know about those. I've looked into them. I've been a big fan of them for about 20 years now. The only problem is they're very expensive. I had a commenter comment on one of those videos, and I'm going to call him out by name. Brad Dietrich commented to look behind the passenger side front tire, and there's probably he thought that there would be a diesel fired preheater there. Well, I didn't give it too much thought. I just thought, well, I know these buses have a laundry list of options that are available to them, to school districts from the factory, over 100 options that people can choose from. There's hardly a bus out there that's identical to the bus sitting next to it in the fleet. So, I just said, well, I don't think it's on my bus, but it'd be great if there was. And he said, double check, because I know the guy that installed it in 2007. And then it dawned on me who Brad Dietrich was. Brad Dietrich is the guy I bought the bus from, so he should know. First thing I did was I went through one of my boxes because he told me where the controller was, and I found this. And this is the controller for that ProHeat system. Check it out. So you can control it manually, or you can run it off a timer. Well, that didn't make any sense because I've gone from the engine block and I've followed that cooling system all the way to the front of the bus, and I didn't see anywhere where it was teed off. Well, let's just go underneath the bus and take a look, see, shall we? Passenger side front tire. Got it hot out here. Holy cow. Okay. Would you look at that? There it is, right there. Huh. Oh, I see. There's a cooling line, and the other one's over there. And this is teed right off the, I would imagine, comes right off the fuel tank. So, this goes back to the engine compartment. It goes through the center of the bus. Let's go look at the engine compartment. Alright, take it away. Alright, I see now. These two blue silicon lines go to the heaters in the bus, and then these lines here, this one and that one, are coming from that heater. And that one goes up to the block, and this one comes down to tees into the lower hose coming out of the water pump. That goes to the radiator. I had one. I get a 100-foot roll of 1-inch PEX for like $80, plus a couple of fittings to adapt it to the rubber heater hose. $100. Let's say $100 to do it the way that I had settled on before I knew about this heater dealio. Or I could probably scavenge enough of the rubber hose that I got left here, and I believe that's either 5/8. That's probably 3/4 inch. I think it looks like 3/4 inch hose that's coming off that that preheater. I don't have to move it, I just have to reroute the hoses to the front of the bus. It's probably going to be a wash one way or the other. But if I use the preheater as a standalone heating system for the dash of the bus, I'm looking at getting a 12-volt pump and some kind of expansion tank. So I have to use coolant in it, obviously, but I'll have to install an expansion tank because water, when it heats up, expands just like everything else. So what do I do? I mean, I really don't need a preheater where I live right now, and for the most part I'll be chasing 70 degrees, but who's to say in 10 years that we don't move back to Michigan or go someplace north where it is cold? Who's to say in 5 or 10 years we're not using this as a tiny house while we save up for a greenhouse and we're living in the thing full time? Who's to say? It's there. I probably should use it, right? Right? Well, anyway, just another thing to re-engineer. But anyway, thanks Brad for the 411. I appreciate it. He also mentioned that he had another bus just like this for sale. I don't know if it's still for sale, but if it is, and you're interested, let me know. I'll put you in touch with Brad. Well, let's go inside and do a little rudimentary Google search and see what those ProHeat systems go for. One thing I do know is that preheater was not working when I picked up the bus. At least the controller wasn't working. I fiddled with the buttons and they didn't even light up. So I'm not even sure if the thing works. Probably should try to get it working before I, re-engineer everything. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research and find out how to make this thing work. But I know it wasn't working when I purchased the bus. At least it wasn't powered up. It might have been just a simple pulled wire. But man, it would be cool if that thing works and everything's copacetic. Worst case scenario, if I decide not to use it, I can always sell it and generate a little extra revenue for the conversion. Don't want to do that. Now that I have one, I probably never will sell it. I don't sell things. As you can see, they're not cheap. And turns out my bus has got one on it, so bonus. And so I'm gonna think this through. I don't know whether I'm going to leave it as is and in place like it is and just do like I was originally planning, just run the PEX from the back to the front, or divert. If I redesign that system, I'm going to have to disconnect the coolant lines. Excuse me. Disconnect the coolant lines from the preheater. Reroute the coolant lines to the front, underneath the bus, up to the front, where I could go right straight up to the floor if I wanted to, and I'll probably have to put an expansion tank in it so I have a closed system, and get another 12-volt pump, circulation pump, so I can circulate that coolant. Yeah, something to think about, certainly. And really the purpose of the preheater as it's installed right now is to keep the coolant in the engine warm. It's not really designed to keep the coolant in the rest of the cooling system warm, just to keep the engine warm so it starts easier in cold climates. And I don't really have to worry about that too much here. But who's to say if I'm going to be here in 10 years? You know, but oh, wow, just some more things to think about. Okay, I'm going to pose the question again. Thanks, Brad, for bringing that to my attention. I'd have gone through the rest of my life not even knowing that was there, not even bothered to go check it out. So, thanks for the 411, and I'm glad I didn't throw that little controller away. I thought they had something to do with the heated mirrors, but I was in deconstruct mode when I took that off. Really wasn't thinking about, it's just the way I am. I just don't think things all the way through sometimes. But anyway, how do you think I should run that? Should I just leave it the way it is and use that as an engine preheater, or should I disconnect that? And how would you, if you were going to do this, how would you design it? Like I said, you'd have to have an expansion tank, because you gotta allow room for water to expand and contract. So you have to have a holding tank, an expansion tank, and you'd have to have a circulating pump, I would think. So, yeah, just throw that out there. Comment in the comment section. And I've been getting a lot of traffic lately, and I really appreciate it. Continue to share these videos. It certainly will help me out quite a bit. And thumbs up if you don't mind, or thumbs down if you don't like them. Either way, doesn't make any difference to me. It just shows that there's interaction. So appreciate everything that you do for me, and like, share, comment, whatever. And until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep your powder dry, and have a splendid day. And I hope it cools down here pretty quick, because it's too damn hot to do anything out there. Bye.